and welcome to a new video. It was so bright and nice up here today that while I was in here, I'm going to continue Fullmetal Alchemist. We are on Omnibus 4. That means volume 10, 11, 12, which I feel like is weird that we are so far, but such is life. And I'm going to start it just now and talk to you about it. If I can find the thing. I feel like I should get my tripod if we're going to be up here. But I didn't have enough hands when I was walking up the stairs. Let's see. We are on chapter 38, Signal to Strike. So let's go. Oh my god, look how bright and nice it is up here. I love it right now. So I had almost forgotten we were in this huge fight. You know, they were being attacked at their base thing, and then obviously Roy did show up, and then Hawkeye told him, you should not show up here now. Everyone knows that you know about everything. And he's like, oops. And then they chase after one of them. I think they chase after Envy, who could change forms. And then they come to this hospital. Also, what's it called? Barry, the dude who is in the armor that they made. The serial killer. Barry. That's not maybe his name. His name is just now 66, I think. He runs in before them without like waiting. And then Rose like using that as a ploy to get in. And then instead of finding Envy, they do find Lust. And Lust has apparently been faking to be Havok's girlfriend, who is one of the people in under Roy. He gets stabbed and he's about to die because they tried to explode her with fire, but it didn't work. And she showed them that she has the Philosopher's Stone in her heart, and that's how they were made. But when they say the Philosopher's Stone, I always assume there's one stone, but it seems like maybe there's several, if there's one stone in each of the people. But he basically rips that out and tries to take it in Havok instead so he can save Havok, since he's dying right now. But it seems to be a bit glued to her. I actually don't even know what's going on. It was an intense thing overall, but it's fun. So now we have chapter 39, Complications at Central. I would say they have many complications here, so it seems correct. Okay, so we have this fight because Lust thought he killed Roy and the other dude Havok. I actually don't know if he's still alive or not. And then I don't know why, but Gluttony and we ran away. They were like, this is not our fight. Something, so they just ran off, and I didn't really get why. And then Lust shows up instead and starts fighting Al and Hawkeye, and then Hawkeye gets the message that like Roy is dead from Lust, and then she basically gives up, but then Al protects her, and then Roy shows up in the last moment. He had used fire to close his wounds, and then as well as like sear the new symbol on his hand. I didn't really get what happened to his old one. I think she ruined it. And then I think he actually killed her. He got a Philosopher's Stone. At the same time, we had the major for her dude, Bradley, standing outside, waiting if anyone escaped, he would kill them. But I didn't really get it because they did all escape. So I'm now confused whose side he is on. But could they just kill them all in there and like blame it on someone else? Because now they know a lot of stuff. I'm not sure. But he let them go. And then they call the ambulance. Al comes home and he leaves just like Vinrick Rice. And then all at the same time, obviously we had been dragged up to this meeting thing with Armstrong. And then they meet up with, what is Second Lieutenant Breda doing here? But isn't that Armstrong? I have no idea. We just meet a dude. I don't actually know who that dude is. Are they gonna go and see, was it Maria? Was that what she was called? I don't know. But we had chapter 40, Philosopher from the West. Yay. Also in that whole fight, Lynn was there because they ran off, but maybe he was in another place. Oh, maybe that was the thing. I'm a bit slow. Lynn was confronting Gluttony and Envy, and then in another place, I think we had Alan Hawkeye, and then 66, who did, I think 66 was ruined as well. I'm actually not sure. So Lil didn't need to fight. They just left Lynn. But they weren't actually with Al and Hawkeye. We were 3 different places. I was a bit confused. It makes sense now. Okay, let's go. Okay, so a lot of pieces in this. We can take one character at a time. We have Ad, who arrived somewhere in the desert. They needed to get a legal passport and everything. And they meet Maria. I don't actually know if her name is Maria, but they meet a lady that was accused for the murder, and they're all really happy to see her. And now he's going to talk to her. Roy and Havoc is in hospital talking with Hawkeye and Al, and they're like unsure if they can trust the Colonel for her Bradley. And then she found like this thing on the map where they can ish calculate where that lab is, where they were outside of. And then Havoc apparently can't feel his leg, so he thinks he needs to retire. Really sad. But he's at least alive. And yeah, they're just talking about going forward and investigating, and I'm like, they're all gonna die. Good luck. I really hope they don't. But yeah. And then in the end we have Al and Ed's father arriving home in their village. He says he can't find his house. Well, he hasn't been there for years, so it makes sense. And that's kind of how the chapter ends. I think that covered about everything. And when he goes into the desert, he finds some really cool ruins. And also, oh, I forgot to mention it, Rat did get scolded a bit for like not stopping them when he was supposed to, but he said that Roy could still be useful. So yeah. Okay, so we had chapter 41, On the Palm of an Arrogant Human Being. I don't know why, but I felt a lot of emotions in this chapter. I was like tearing up. Like, I don't know why. This whole chapter is basically just talking to Maria and Armstrong, and she's telling them how she was saved. Roy made like a fake body. He copied her dental records, everything. And then she is now escaping to the kingdom of Xin. I don't know how to say it, but X-E-N. And then she also seems sad. Then right before Ad is gonna follow the others and like leave the place, he like wants to look more at like this thing here. I don't really know if to call it like ruins. And then some people attack him, which is Ishabalans. It's a group of people and they attack him, and then this old lady telling him to let them go and saying that they got saved by a doctor that was, what are they called again? Amstrian is what Admiral and the others are, and they are the ones who like, I was gonna say genocided the Ishablans. And then they're talking about like the Rockabouts, some doctors that saved that also was killed by the people they saved. And apparently that was his aunt and uncle. And then I got really sad, and they saying that they were killed by a person that was covered in bandages and had a tattoo. So that is maybe someone we will meet later. And then he's gonna visit their graves before like leaving for good. But I was like, why are the graves here? Like, he was suddenly home. But I'm a bit confused. Like, was he nearby his home? Either way. And then he's like, no, it can't be. And then he stands face to face with his father, and the chapter ended, which I think was actually very dramatic. And that was actually volume 10? Oh god. And now we're going to volume 11. I just felt like we had read so many volumes, which is chapter 42, The Father Standing Before a Grave. That was the most accurate, like, I was gonna say, chapter title you could have, because that's literally what they're doing. Oh god. So we have Ad confronting his father, and his father is like, he just leaves. He doesn't really have that much to say. He was just gonna check up on him like for a day, and then he just leaves. And then Ad overhears a convo where the father suggests that the woman they resurrected back maybe not would have been the mother, just like a random creature that looked like the mother or something, or like a creature. I don't hope that gives them the hope that they can resurrect her after all. Then we have Lane talking about his family and where he comes from, and that he is like the 12th son of the emperor that has like married many different women, that gets like children with like many different clans, etc. And that he's 12th in line and he wants to be heir, but then he needs a proof of immortality because the emperor just got sick, and then like he would impress the emperor the most, and then he will let the emperor die and then maybe get some more power. He has 50,000 people relying on him. Then we are talking about Havoc's legs and how they can ask for help from Dr. Marok, and the dude that like helped Maria is gonna go to ask him. But before he gets there, we have Envy and Gluttony showing up and forcing him to come and work with them in Central, because else they're gonna kill all the villagers. And then the dude that works from Roy arrives and it's too late. Then also Al talks about how his body's basically a ticking time bomb because they don't know how long it's gonna last, or like they don't even know if he's immortal because they don't know if like his soul has a normal human lifespan. A lot of pieces, a lot of things come together. Love it. Chapter 43 is a river of mud. I love being depressed. That is why I'm reading this. Okay, sorry. Al has a little bit like, well, this body might just die, and there's nothing good about it. And Vindri gets very sad and runs out.
Like, he can't sleep, he can't feel anything, so I do get it. It seems very depressing. And then Ed has a nightmare about him making his brother being stuck in that body. His father left, but he wants to go and dig up that body in the yard where their father was the mother, and I realized it was never the mother all along. And then he's like, "Al, can we return to normal?" But I didn't understand if that body was not the mother's body, how that had to do with Al. I have no idea. But then we see that little girl with a panda, and she is Mei Chang, and maybe she's one of the other siblings of Lin, or working with him. I have no idea. But she's looking for Edward Elric, right? And she tells this dude, and he's like, "I hate him," but I don't actually remember who that is. Was he the dude that was the leader of the coal mines people? I have no idea. And then we see Scar fight the silver alchemist and wins. And he has all the tattoos on his arm. So was he the one who killed the uncle and aunt of Ed and Al? Because I had forgotten that he had the tattoos. But then he was full of bandages. But he has scars in his face. So maybe he just had bandages at the time when that was happening. And they saved him and then he killed them. I have no idea if that is him or if it's two different people with these tattoos on their arms. No idea. We're going to chapter 44, the Unnamed Grave. Okay, so this was a lot of conversations between Al and Ed, who is now arrived again there, because after they dig up the body and found out that that wasn't the mother's body, he realized. So there was a neighbor just suddenly walking outside. He realized that the people who are dead can never get the body back because it's impossible. But he thinks that Al's memories are being stored somewhere in his brain, that his body is still alive, and he never officially died. So his body should still be in the gate place. And then they're gonna go there to get it back. I don't understand how they're gonna do that, but they are just really let's do this now. And I'm I'm hoping they can do this now, and then they can solve all this other shit that is going on. And then we had their teacher that realized that she didn't kill her child twice because that child could never been hers, whatever they tried to bring back, which also was very sad. Then we had Roy talking with Havoc, who, is in the hospital. And then he's like, "Give up on me, just leave me behind. I'm not useful to you anymore." But then he's like, "Fine, I will move on and then I will go on so that we can meet on top again. Because if I give up on, I'm not actually giving up on you, but I'm saying I'm giving up on you in a way." Roy is just such a good guy. I love him. And then he's gonna get ready to go back in uniform. Then there's this huge announcement that Scar is back, that people need to be careful. And then he meets that little girl, May, and says that her tattoos, that comes from her culture, and said that he got it from his brother who studied her culture. And then she asked where is his brother, and then he said his dad, he was killed by a state alchemist. So was that the dude that killed the aunt and stuff? I have no idea. But chapter 45 is Scar's return. A chaotic fight is happening. I'm stressed. Okay. Ad is gonna use himself as bait to get forward Scar, and if he shows up, he thinks that the other humans will show up and they need to talk to them because they need more info on them, the gluttony and all those people. And then Lynn is gonna help them, and then he's just going around doing alchemist miracles for people so that Scar will know where it is and come for him. So because he's using himself as bait, and Roy is like, "What are you doing?" And I talk a bit, and it seems like that Roy and Hawkeye goes off, I think, and I sit on this rooftop helping them, I think, and then gives false reports so that Ad can do his thing, and then him and Scar are right now fighting, and it looks really cool. And then the Bradley dude attacks Lanfan, who was the one who worked with Lynn. So they are having a fight, I think, with Gluttony and Bradley and Lynn and Lanfan at the same time as Ad has his fight with Scar. I think I forgot to say earlier, but the doctors that Scar killed, or we think he killed, it might not have been him, it could have been someone else with tattoos, maybe his brother, for example. That is Winry's parents. So that was why they're uncle and aunt, and obviously the children, or one of the children of the granny out in the countryside. And he did tell her, but he hasn't told Winry yet. I think I forgot to say that earlier. And now we are going already to volume, I thought they're going so fast, 12. So we are on chapter 46, the distant image of their backs. Also, Winry observed Ad earlier, and it's wow, he's not a kid anymore. So it took her a long time to realize, I think. So dramatic, so dramatic. Okay, so first of all, Lynn is fighting Bradley. I don't know if he's winning or losing, but he shows off one of his eye because he has an eye patch. And it's like full of like, that's where he had his like alchemy symbol thing. Interesting. And then we have Winry visiting the grave with Yu's wife and child. And then she hears that there's a fight of the little alchemists, so she runs over. And right when she arrives, because first I talked a lot about like what you're doing is wrong, but what blah blah blah. Like they have a long speech of like judgment and stuff. But he starts to ask him like, did you kill the doctor? Blah 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 blah. Back in Ishablan, and at the moment when he does, the winner of course shows up, and then she grabs a gun and then points it at Scar, and then the chapter ends very dramatically. And before that, in the start of the chapter, we had the father riding in a carriage, and then they are being attacked by bandits. And then I think it's actually Ishablan bandits, because what other choice do they have? And then they try to shoot him, but then no bullets hit him, and then they just run off like they seen a monster, and they ask him what he is, and he's just a monster. So what can their father do? Very curious. But yeah, we go to chapter 47, Our Girl in a Grip of Battles, Past and Present. Oh no. At first I was really confused why Lynn and Lanfan was like being chased in the first place, but it's because they could see what was inside Gluttony, and I think if they could see inside Bradley, he got a bit like, I will be like, what's it called, caught. So that's why he attacked them. But they were after Gluttony in the first place, I think. And then it looks like Lanfan is going to stab himself, and they're all like, oh my god, he's going to kill himself so that like Lynn can get away, but then we switch scenes. But with Ad and Al, we had Winry who couldn't shoot Scar. And then like they do run off and like change, I was going to say, a place where they're at. And Winry is safe, but she says she couldn't shoot him even though knowing he killed her parents. And then Ad tells her that her hands were made to save lives, not take them. So sweet. They do then go after Scar and are like fighting. And then Gluttony also shows up and attacks Scar. And you know they do want a homunculus, I don't even know what to call it. People who are not, just have alchemist bodies, I guess. Lan shows up and like puts like, I was gonna say a bomb, something inside of him, so he explodes the Gluttony, but he obviously doesn't die because he just regenerates. But when he regenerates, he put like iron, I was gonna say, strings on him so that like he will be stuck in them, because like when he will regenerate and be stuck in them. Bradley chased after an arm that apparently was the one that Lanfan cut off. Was it Lanfan for cut off? I do think, I'm pretty sure it was. And then Lynn is with them, helping them string up the Gluttony. So Lanfan is hiding in the sewers and does have one arm less that they took on a dog so that Bradley chased the wrong trail, which was, I mean, that's a sacrifice, but he can get a metal arm now, right? Right, yes. I guess they did capture a homunculus, but Scar is still there, so I don't know. We have chapter 48, A Promise Made by Those Who Wait. Okay, a lot of things happen, actually. Winry helps them when they finally, like, captured, I was gonna say, Gluttony, and shots him, Scar in the leg, but maybe that happened right before. Now it happened in this chapter. The little girl comes and helps May. And then actually Al got hold of her panda, but Scar is healed a bit, and we see Bradley talk a bit to Winry. Winry goes home. She has a lot of phone calls where like they need her at the other place because she is the best and everyone wants her to come back. She leaves, and when she leaves, she realizes like, oh, maybe I've been in love with Ed this whole time. I'm like, what the heck? Just a love confession. And then we have Havoc in hospital training already because he needs to be able to catch up to Roy and the others. And then we have Roy driving Al and Al to this house where Lanfan is being healed, but like obviously he's missing an arm still. And they're talking about like what they're gonna do with Gluttony because like he can regenerate, etc. And then Lynn tells them that King Bradley is also a homunculus. And then Gluttony sees Roy and gets like Superman, but oh my god, you kill us, and like spins, and then he breaks out of those iron wires and is gonna attack them. So chapter 49 is A Monster Among Men. I also just like that he's still moving around even with that iron shit inside of him. They also did mention that Bradley's son is adopted. So like he doesn't have any biological children of his own, because it makes sense that they wouldn't be able to. So I got my answer on that because I asked that earlier when I was like, how is this possible? But yeah, interesting. But they call him the president, so I assume he's actually like the leader or like the king president. But I feel like he's just going around and like doing no president stuff. So I'm confused. But whatever. That was the last chapter. So Gluttony had another monster inside of her tummy. Dan is attacking them. Before that, we had a little combo with Bradley talking to like someone behind the door, but we don't know who, about like him questioning, I guess, what they're doing. Maybe it was interesting because they said that those words could be mutinous, and I'm like, interesting. But I was just thinking that if he has been ruling this whole land this whole time, well, he's a ruler, so like they've always been ruled by the evil people. So why do they need to do so much stuff now? But I guess like they need to do it with more subtle. Everyone will be like, huh? But maybe that's the reason why this genocide happened, because like they were ruled by evil people in a way, or a person that is maybe weird to call them not real, but in a way created to be loyal to father in a machine. And they are trying. The doctor talked about how they're trying. It seems like they want to sacrifice all the people in the north to make a huge Philosopher's Stone. But yeah, in the fight, Roy's getting on. He just swallowed his flames and they need to drive off in safety. So Lan, Al, and Lin are back to defeat him. And they go off after him while everyone else drives off. And then he also gets a gun from Hawkeye and it's like, that is a weapon to kill people. And they're like, it's a weapon to protect yourself. Ad takes that and they are gonna fight. But then there's a horse, and that horse turns into Envy, who's also there. So now they are Envy and Glossy in front of them. Oh no. And now the volume is over. Obviously loving it still. It is very, very fun and interesting. And like I feel like I cannot predict where it's gonna go. Because obviously we know that Bradley is, wrath, etc. But I don't know like the body part and like this conspiracy. And I feel like even if they do kill Bradley, there's going to be more plot twists on the way, because Roy said that this could be problematic because more people could be alchemists without them knowing. Not alchemists, the homunculus people. Homunculus. I can't even say the word. Very, very fun, very, very interesting. I like it a lot so far. I'm just, again, very curious to see how it will play out, because like I found it again hard to predict. And I feel like I'm really liking the new characters. They were much more in it than I thought it would be. And yeah, that little girl that she kind of went with Scar is really interesting as well, because she was in theory looking for Ed. So I'm just curious. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say right now. I hopefully will just read the next one soon and you get more thoughts then. Just very much enjoying this journey. Leave an alchemy emoji down below if you enjoyed this and you should see me soon.